Hey everybody, and welcome to the newest video of Chess Fun with Expert Frank. I'm going to continue doing my opening survey and giving you the basic ideas and a couple of examples of all the different openings. But today I wanted to take a short video out of that and show you one of the basic end games that you'll need to know as you start facing stronger competition. You won't be able to checkmate everybody in the middle game, and you might have some positions that are very close and you'll need to win in the end game. And a king and a rook versus a king is actually kind of tricky, and if you don't know the basic idea of it, it might be something that you struggle to figure out over the board. And definitely if you're low on time and you don't know how to do this, it's probably going to be impossible for you. So I want to show you the main idea of what to do here. So let's say it's black to move here, for example, in this position, and he goes king to d6. The first step that you want to do is basically the idea is to cut off as many squares for the black king and force him towards the back rank. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my rook here, and this cuts off this whole file, so the black king can't move forward anymore. And so let's say he goes here and starts to try and attack my rook. I'm going to leave my rook there, and I'm going to bring my king, and I'm going to show you the position that we're going to try to get into. I'm going to slide my rook over because his king was attacking it. And let's say he goes here. And now, if I was to move my king here, for example, the black king could just go here, and we would kind of be in this position where we would just have to keep shuffling back and forth. So what I'm going to do here is waste a move, is kind of the term that we use. And I'm just going to move my rook here. And the idea being that if this king comes back over here, my king covers all three of these squares, and when I check his king, he can't obviously move towards the king, so he has to move backwards. All these squares are taken, and all these squares are taken. The king has to move backwards, and then, I'm going to push my king up a little bit further just to try and do this pattern again until his king is stuck on the back rank. So your opponent's not going to want to slide their king over and run into this check that we just saw. So they're going to go over here, and we're going to chase the king all the way over. And at some point, the king runs out of squares to move to, and they run into the side of the board. So they're forced to come back in your direction. Again, my king covers all these three squares. This is the position that we need our king to be in. And I'm going to move my rook here and check him, and he's going to have to go back again. And then so I'm going to put my king here. If his king goes here, I'm going to checkmate him here. So he's going to go over to the corner, and I'm going to chase him, and he's going to come back. And then again, we're cutting off all these squares. Our king is stopping him from going to any of these squares. So this is checkmate. So that's just a quick idea of it. But basically, you have to get your king in this position against his. And then when you check him with the rook, he's forced to go backwards. Now, you do have to remember that idea that you're going to have to waste a move. And I'll try to show you another example of that real quick, because I went through that pretty fast. So let's just throw a random position up here on the board. What I would do here personally is I would start my first move here with this rook move to cut his king off from this file. He's attacking my rook, so I'm just going to move it as far away as I can. And let me get into this position here. So let's say we got into this position here. Now I could check him, and he can't go into either of these two squares. But let's try to get into a position where I have to waste a move. Okay, perfect. So he attacked my rook, and I had to move it from preventing it from being taken. And so he's going to come back here. Now, if I move my king over, then he's just going to slide over, and we aren't getting in that position that we need with our kings straight up against each other. So I'm going to waste a move. And again, if he goes here, then this is checkmate. So they're going to have to go over to the corner. And at some point, they run out of squares to go to, and they have to get into this position again. And then that's checkmate. So I hope this gives you an idea of the pattern. Practice that on your own a few times. And so, if you're ever in time pressure or anything like that, you can just blitz this out without thinking about it. And if you like any of these videos, I hope you subscribe to the channel. We'll keep the opening survey going, and I'll keep throwing these little in-game examples out to you so you know how to start checkmating your opponent, even if it's a close game. And at some point, I'm going to be showing you some games and going into some deeper analysis. So I hope you subscribe and you like the content. If you have any questions or anything you want to see, just let me know. Thanks.